The Alligator program identified a sustainable use management program, which through regulated harvest would provide long-term benefits to the survival of the species, the maintenance of its habitats, and provide significant economic benefits to the residents of the state. Since Louisiana's coastal alligator habitats are primarily privately owned, approximately 81%, the Sustainable Use Management Program provides direct benefit and incentive to private landowners and alligator hunters who lease land to protect the alligator and to protect, maintain, and enhance the alligator's wetland habitats.
I think that alligator hunting has been important to Continental for several reasons. Historically, before we had a big ranching operation, we had very high prices for wild skins. And that was an incentive to keep the best trappers. That culture and the love that those trappers have is an important reason to manage alligators. In addition, we need to take some large alligators every year. My experience with other wildlife around the world, it's the most intensively managed and monitored harvest anywhere.
One of the most critical components of the Wild Harvest program is to equitably distribute the harvest in relation to population levels. A nest survey is completed by the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries prior to the season to identify the population distribution and properties that contain sufficient wetland alligator habitat capable of sustaining an alligator harvest. The Wild Harvest, like all aspects of the Louisiana Alligator Management Plan, is highly regulated. The season begins with the distribution of hunting tags. On average, harvest tags purposefully represent only 1% of the population each year. Alligator tags are assigned to specific properties. Wild alligator tags can only be issued to licensed alligator hunters and are non-transferable. An alligator hunter must either own land or have permission to hunt alligators on land that qualifies for alligator harvest tags.
Every tag is allotted to that property. So when we come up and check them, they'll have their paperwork and we'll look at that tag number and coordinate that tag number to that piece of property that they're on. Of course, we'll check his license, make sure he's properly licensed, and then we'll get to the animal. On an alligator, and they stick that plastic tag through the tail, and it has to clip. It has to snap on it, and that's another way the state can regulate the species.
The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries closely monitors and enforces the wild harvest regulations during this 60-day season each year.
Well, they regulate everything. It's watched closely, but we have a very high concentration of alligators out here. We have plenty of them. There's a 60-day season, anywhere from 30 to 35 tags. It fluctuates.
Once each alligator hunter has filled their allotment of tags, they then sell the entire animal to a wholesaler. This process is monitored by the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, including the inspection of tags. Hunters receive greater compensation for the meat, but the wholesaler will then utilize the entire animal, including meat, parts, and hide. The season's still incredibly important to residents.
It's a family tradition for us. We've always done it every year for as long as I can remember. You know, we get to come out here with our dad and do it, and now our children.
It's extremely important, not just for the economy part of the alligators to, you know, still be able to be trapped and sell the hides, but this is our lifestyle. This is what we do. And I honestly don't know what I would do without it.
The Louisiana Alligator Program, including the Wild Harvest component, continues to be one of the most recognizable examples of a wildlife conservation success story. Learn more at louisianaalligators.com.